And then one of the most important parts, in my opinion, is a good All right, guys, welcome to the Tye-Dyed Iguana. I'm Eric. I'm going to talk to you guys about some leopard geckos today. So leopard geckos are actually one of my favorite geckos. I don't know if you guys follow any of our Facebook posts or anything, but I've made that very obvious multiple times. So leopard geckos can live a long time, 15 to 20 years on average. I've heard of a couple getting a little bit older, but they get about 7 to 10 inches long. They do like it, fairly hot like most of your desert animals. So we keep their basking spot at about 95. And then we keep their humidity low in the 30 to 40% range. Now, just because the humidity is low doesn't mean they don't need humidity to shed, so we'll kind of go over some of that here in a second. Minimum tank size that we do go with is a 10-gallon, but by the time you get all your hides and stuff in there, it ends up getting a little crowded, so I personally like to go with a 20-gallon. Now, we're just going to kind of start off with the basics on care. Obviously, there's a lot of other things you could always add in for these guys. But first off over here, we have the Desert Blend. The Desert Blend works really well for desert animals. I know there are some concerns about different things with them, but we've been using Desert Blend since our store is opened, and we're coming up on our 19-year anniversary here, and we have not had any problems with it. Works great to absorb any of the feces and is easy to clean and maintain. After that, you're gonna want, obviously, your heat lamp and your lighting. Lighting is going to dictate depending on the size of the enclosure. A water dish, and we like to use ReptiSafe water conditioner. This is going to remove any of the chlorine and chloramines out of your tap water. Also add in some electrolytes to make it a little bit safer for your geckos to drink. And with the water, we do recommend changing it daily just to keep that water clean and healthy for these guys. Sometimes they do go to the bathroom in it, although leopard geckos are pretty interesting in where they like to go to the bathroom in the same place every day, which is pretty crazy. You can almost potty train them. The next thing, we do have a mealworm dish, and this mealworm dish works really well because it kind of has a lip on it. Mealworms aren't going to be able to crawl out. And they also like to eat crickets, roaches, all of that fun stuff too. Inside that mealworm dish, I actually like to use the calcium, just pour it directly into the dish, just a nice fine layer. Leopard geckos are interesting where they'll actually seek out forms of calcium. So they'll actually lick up the calcium as needed. And then I do like to dust their insects once a week with a good multivitamin. To maintain and check on those temperatures, definitely use a good thermometer to check on that. Under your heat lamp, we do like to use a good hide. This is a great one here. Looks very desert-like, so makes them feel a little bit more at home. And then one of the most important parts, in my opinion, is a good humid hide. But with the humid hide, you want to put in some moss, keep some nice damp sphagnum moss in there. So you definitely don't want the moss soaking wet, but you want it kind of like a damp sponge like you just wring out. So that high humidity is going to allow the leopard gecko to have kind of a microclimate of higher humidity so that it can easily shed its skin. These guys, if they don't have an availability of a higher humidity area, they get what's known as ringing, where the skin builds up on their fingers and toes from not shedding properly, and it can actually cut off circulation where they'll lose those appendages. Leopard geckos do benefit from a 12-hour light cycle, so 12 on, 12 off. And then if you want to, you can add a low output UVB just to kind of give those guys a little bit benefit from that. Nothing too strong, since they are more of a crepuscular animal, meaning that they come out more mornings and evenings. They are getting a little bit of that UVB, so they definitely do benefit of it, but nothing too strong that's going to cause any issues with them health-wise. So I hit a little bit on the diet, but these guys are insectivores. They're going to eat a wide range of insects. Here in the store, we do feed them a lot of crickets and mealworms, but you can also feed them roaches, hornworms. Some people occasionally do superworms. You have to be careful with those though, because there is a lot of exoskeleton on them. You don't want to clog them up. And then you can do waxworms on occasion as well. But the waxworms you have to be careful with because they are very fatty and can cause fatty liver issues with these guys. All right, guys, so that's going to be it for our leopard gecko friend here today. If you guys do have any questions, feel free to send us a message, give us a call. We'd be more than happy to help you out. Find you a new pet leopard gecko.